Chugga chugga choo choo.
All right, it says we're live. Let's give it a second to see if anyone shows up in the chat.
Aha.
Hello, video on demand.
Yes, I am seeing it.
Oh,
Look
that's
at
what
that.
VOD. That's what VOD stands for.
Yes.
Yes, video on demand.
I never. Yeah. Huh.
Uh-huh.
I never thought about it.
I
We
suppose
got
that
people.
may as
We
well
got
be
people.
true.
Yeah, people.
All right,
people
yeah.
on. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'm gonna do the little tweet telling people that this is happening now that my Twitter has loaded.
Good.
I say my as though it's not the rolling with difficulty Twitter. So many tabs. Where are they
I
coming
am
from?
the Senate.
Ugh.
All the tabs.
So
How's
many
it going,
tabs. I have
folks?
so many tabs. Ah.
You don't tweet from your phone? Come on.
I need the link to the stream, Austin. I'm not gonna copy paste it across devices.
Text it to yourself.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Take a screenshot. Use
Send it
like
over
some
Facebook.
Yeah.
use like some
Hand type
Google
it
AI
back out.
program to yeah.
Mhm. Or just get more monitors. Just get a million monitors.
Yeah, 2 screens are better than 1.
I have
I'm
a
not taking
Oh,
advice
God,
from the other cast members anymore.
2.
I
That's
was-
all
I
I
was-
have.
You don't have an invert yet?
You
No,
gotta-
we
you
can't.
gotta
We
send
can't
it.
keep doing
Your
this.
tweet
We can't.
needs to be invert.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do not.
Have
You
It's
gotta
either
treat it like
TikTok-
pages of a book.
It's either that or 2 horizontal monitors stacked vertically, so
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
one can be like your work, and then the other can just be a constant stream of Subway Surfer.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you seen the TikTok that's like they're playing D&D? It's like the fighter isn't paying attention to the turn, and the DM puts a screen with Subway Surfer down in front of the DM screen.
Okay, we are tweeted. So, hello everybody, and welcome to the season 3 wrap-up Q&A. We are going to be hanging out for like an hour and answering questions that you guys have emailed to us, and write in chat. Please don't spam potatoes, guys. Wrong.
Yes.
Wrong content.
I assume this is
side
a
of
Red
the-
live stream
this
thing.
I
is
didn't even
a
say
Red
anything
live
this
stream
time.
thing.
Oh.
There are no potatoes in
Yeah.
rolling with difficulty.
There are no potatoes in the Planescape. You heard it here first, folks.
Yet.
Yes.
As far as we know.
And molasses.
But we just finished wrapping up, like, 2 weeks ago, season 3, the
Mhm.
finale.
Yeah.
There
It's
will
been
likely
2
be
weeks.
spoilers for what has happened up till now, so if you haven't listened to the finale, pause this. This will be available as a VOD and as an audio upload after the fact, so if you aren't caught up and you want to catch up, it's totally fine. You're not going to miss anything. In the meantime, though, we've got a bunch of questions to get through, so why don't we just jump on in?
Woohoo.
This one comes
Yeah.
from our email. From Davis. Hello, very new fan here. Just got caught up on the show and I love every bit of it. My question is for Austin. How much of the Planescape is homebrew and how much comes from official sources? I would love to run a Planescape game, but I can't find anything on the other planes.
Oh my goodness, that's a good question. I think it's been asked a few times in a few different ways. The answer is it's complicated, but the more useful answer is all the broad strokes stuff I try to take quote canon. The problem is that there's also a bunch of canons because throughout the editions they've rebooted and updated things, often to fit the new rules that are coming out. So I go by, oh my goodness, I guess it's like mostly second edition stuff, which has kind of come back into being canon in 5th edition, which is the Great Wheel cosmology. And you can find some basic information about that in the Dungeon Master's Guide. Also, Wikipedia is your friend. There's extensive article. The ads are brutal. But you can find just a ton of it on there. That's where I get most of it. But yeah, I try to keep things as canon as I can in the broad strokes. And when I can find fun little details, I'll often incorporate them because they spark my imagination, right? I'll be thinking about like, what are they going to do here? What's an encounter they could have? And I'll run up across like cadaver collectors are native of Acheron, and I'm like, perfect, we're throwing a cadaver collector in there. Hell yes. Everything else will, or the way rules like that. But then I'm not afraid to just add things that I find interesting or take out things that I find either dumb or confusing. a lot of what I do is just streamlining things because it's freaking confusing. And so I'll streamline things, or I'll just take better ideas. Like I think that technically, in the Planescape canon, souls go to another demi-plane when you die. The petitioners go to another demi-plane or something, and then they're collected there. But I was like, that's not super dramatic because we can't visit that place, and it's not. So they go to the astral sea because it's the world between worlds. It's the place that they go before they are picked up by their god. So that's I made that canon. And then when the players come to me with stuff and they want to do something, like I think it was Wally's idea to have. I said we're not going to do the factions and sigil, and I think Wally pitched the idea that the Searing Tongue was based off of the Society of Sensation.
Yeah.
Which that wasn't canon, but it came from the players, and I like Kalistar and Warforge are not canon races, but both Red and Noir are really interested in playing characters like that, so we found a way to make it canon. So that's how I do it. I'd recommend checking out Google if you want it for free. If you want to pay money on the DM's Guild, all the old books exist. There's also a great series of articles on the DM's Guild called, what are they called? I use them all the time. Codex of the Infinite Planes. There's a PDF of like 12 pages for every single plane of existence, and it's got background, it's got consolidated lore, it's got monster stat blocks, it's got adventure hooks. Go crazy with those.
I did want to comment really quickly on the canon of the Planescape, because when I was illustrating the Planescape posters, I had to look up some stuff about them, and it's so funny how lack of internal consistency there is in a lot of cases. Like, we made a Planescape map of like the whole Planescape, and there's nowhere in it that sigil makes sense to put.
Yeah.
You can't
No,
put it
but that's
in the map.
that's kind of the whole point. Where people are like, it's the middle, and then other people are like, well, the material plane is the middle.
It's like I get it's like at least 4 dimensions, probably 5, but at the same time, like, come on, man, give me something. Or I'll look it up and it'll be like, it's like a gray waste, but maybe there's other stuff happening somewhere, and I'm just like, but what does it look like? It's like, I don't know, I'll never tell. So, and then it'll be like, in the Great Wheel cosmology, this is how things worked. When they adapted the World Tree cosmology in 937 QF, I'm like, what's happening? So, anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
You could also wait until later on in 2023 when I
Yeah.
think D&D's official Planescape book for 5e is going to come out.
Yes, indeed.
Is totally going to be great.
We'll
And
see.
Not at all
We'll see.
underwhelming. Yeah.
Both Dragonlance and Spelljammer were underwhelming.
When
But
has
they
Wizards of the
got,
Coast ever steered us wrong?
but they did get Tony Lizzie back as the artist.
Yes.
And for that
Hey, dope
almost
artwork?
might just
Yes.
ensure my money. We'll see. He's one of my favorite. I have a dragon print of his somewhere in here.
Cool.
That
We'll
looks
take
so
another
good.
question from chat. Joram Wildshit asking about the music and wanting to use it in their own campaign. Absolutely, you can use any music from the podcast in your home games. It should all be on SoundCloud and linked to the episode descriptions, but my younger brother is the person who has composed all of this, and I know that he does not necessarily always update the SoundCloud immediately, so I will text him if it is not there. But it shouldn't be paywalled or anything. It should just all be available there. Another question from chat, though, just to scroll back up a bit, from Music Enthusiast 135. Considering there's a wedding coming up, which one of the weird little dudes should be the ring bearer for maximum chaos and shenaniganery? So of all of the many weird little
good.
dudes, who's... Wally, I think you're really the authority on this one in that it is ostensibly your wedding, but...
Hey, the wedding is we haven't even started recording for next season, and
This is real
just
death flag.
thinking about a wedding is
Yeah.
is stressing me out. But like when we get there, it'll most likely be Plug.
Yeah, I mean, this
If
question
anything.
has a right answer, and it's
Yeah.
Plug.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait,
I think in my mind, though, Plug does, like, eat the rings is the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
The question was for maximum chaos, not who would
That's
be an
true.
actually good ring
yeah,
bearer.
true.
Right. Right.
Like,
do like the
Bing is a
idea.
very professional, incorporeal orb. He
Yes.
has a
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
He does
But
the
he also,
job.
Bing notably cannot hold an object, so it would present some issues.
Yeah.
Also, that would basically be Virla being the ring bearer.
Can Bing cast Mage Hand?
Virla can't cast Mage Hand. I don't think he has Mage Hand.
Oh.
Well,
Well,
he's got the Hat of
there's-
Wizardry. How do
He
we
does,
select?
actually, that's true.
Mhm.
If Virla's weird little dude would probably be the wasp that Maxim gave
Ooh.
him.
Ooh.
So
Like
Yeah.
4 of them working together to hold the ring.
yeah, I would have. Well, I guess
I would have assumed it would be the Pixies is the thing, because they're Finbar's
no
little
coriander.
dudes.
The Pixies are the best men, or at
yeah,
least some
no,
of
The
them.
giant wolf.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
coriander.
Corey, hey, having a dog ring bearer can go either way. You know,
Coriander in a
it's,
bow tie. Oh, yeah, Coriander's a borzoi, right?
Yes,
like one
correct.
of the long boys? Yeah.
The didn't I do it for you, dog?
Yes. I know it's an old meme, but I can't. I love it.
Time that has come up in conversation in the last week for me.
I have no idea what this is a
Probably.
reference to. Is this a
How
TikTok
adore
thing?
you, It is.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to make a second rolling with difficulty TikTok.
Coriander fan art.
Yeah.
Didn't I do it for you?
Uh-huh.
Oh no, it's happening already.
Yeah.
We'll take another question from the email then. This one comes from Lenorian. Hi all, absolutely love the series finale. Not the series finale, just the season finale, but that's okay. Such a wild ride from start to end. I was floored by Wally's new character, so I have to ask, what was the discussion like when deciding on that introduction? Obviously, Wally knew this was coming, but I'm curious what the discussion was like between deciding Finbar might be leaving the crew and knowing that the new character would be met in this dungeon. And after that excellent, shocking moment, has it prompted any of the other players to start thinking more about their backup characters? Thanks again for a great series. Looking forward to more adventures. So Wally, what was it like?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, guys.
Yeah, Wally.
Well, this is kind of a two-parter. One, retiring Finbar was a thing that narratively was a thing that was going to happen. I had planned him out to level 20, but with the way the dice rolls and after his arc and everything happening in season 3, I realized the character is getting a little too old for this shit. He's relatively old for an adventurer. He's still a young dude. He's like 32, mid 30s.
Don't say that, man. They're
you know?
high schoolers here.
Yeah. But in terms of being an
Remember the Roy
adventurer,
Ayers scandal.
you know, that's definitely like on the other side of the hump. And a lot of elements are calling him to just settle down and go home. So retiring the character felt like a natural thing for me to eventually settle on. With that being said, though, with Finbar gone, who do I introduce next was a question that I found myself asking, and it was time for me, and I decided, hey, I'm gonna play a character that is more suited to sort of the more chaotic nature of the crew and sort of lean into those fun shenanigans. How that's going to shake up the group dynamic will be interesting to see. And then in terms of pitching this to Austin, we've talked back and forth about like where Finbar is going. And I said, yeah, no, sometime in season 4, I think this is it. I think he's going to get married. I think he's going to settle down. I'm going to send you notes for this next character. And then with the way season 3 ended, was going to end, we're going to a Gith city. Why not, introduce a Gith prisoner? Someone who's on the other side of sort of the way you raise the Gith Yankee. And he's like, yeah, no, that's perfect. So I sent him notes, and he's like, yeah, he's going to be in this prison. Introduce him, and I'll just point it to you the second the party gets there. And I'm just like, hey, as long as Finbar and or anybody is alive, then it'd be perfect time to just give them a couple of buffs going into whatever the final battle will be. Voss ended up hanging around a lot longer than I thought he would. But hey, a nice
Me
little
too.
preview for when he comes back in season 4.
That's so fun. Well, when you first off, there's a classic Wally thing where you sent me. You're like, by the way, I rolled the character, and here's just 4 pages of backstory already prepped.
It
And
was
I was like, oh,
2
I was like-
pages.
I was like, all right.
No,
All right, I know exactly where to put him.
Yeah.
But then I kind of assumed that when we met him, I knew as soon as you said this, I was like, it's going to be such a dramatic moment for the players and for the listeners. When I'm like, Wally, describe your character, but I kind of assumed you'd just be like, and then Voss pieces out. And then we'd be like, what a weird stranger. And then you're like, he's going to stick around. I was like, all right, I guess we got a fifth PC going on.
How was he supposed to get out?
You wanted to handwave escape from the most inescapable prison in the Astral Sea?
Well, I think that would have been kind of cool then when he showed back up and you guys would have been like, how did you get out? And,
You know what? Yeah,
he's kind of a badass
like that.
But obviously, at the same time, it was him and the Nothic versus the world.
Yeah,
the Nothic versus the world. Oh, goodness. Good old Nothic.
What a good little dude. Yeah, also, like, Wally and Austin were in the loop on this, but the rest of the cast, like, we very much did not know that there was going to be a second Wally character in that episode.
Not at all, no.
So the reactions when Wally starts talking again were very genuine.
And that was right on the heels of that really stressful fight, so I was like, oh man, Wally, how hard were you trying to die before we
The very stressful fight where Finbar, like, went down and around because the commander, like, immediately lasered in on him.
Yeah. 105 hit points gone in a round.
Yeah.
It was insane.
I was like, are you throwing? And it's like, no! I didn't want to die in that round.
You guys face off one of the Githyanki that there are like maybe dozens of.
And
like
they're
Supreme
still
Commander,
in the bag.
Yeah, they're still in the bag. Yeah.
That's one of the dumbest ideas you've ever done that actually paid off.
I can't believe
it worked. It worked. We got to do that from now on.
No, we can't do that from now on. This is the Green Lantern can just have everything get thrown into the sun problem. Like, we can't just do that every episode.
But it's so funny. It's like we have a collection of dead bodies in the bag of holding.
No,
clean it out between seasons. It's fine. Dani knows how to do spring cleaning.
Yeah, Dani just randomly shoveling dead bodies out of a bag of holding. Like, okay, this is natural. Yeah, this is
just over the edge of the sea of brass.
I know that
Dani would be for it
because if they start abusing it.
I know that Dani's gonna be for it because basically we've given her a goop farm.
Everything about this is bad.
I've played a lot of D&D games in the past where having a penchant for being a little bit of a hoarder has really worked out for me. So Dani very much lends herself to be the kind of character who might have like salt water from the plane of salt in her bag, and maybe that's gonna pay off at some point. I don't know. You all joke, but everything else I've collected so far has eventually paid off in some regard.
That is demonstrably untrue.
So we're just saying things now, right?
Yep.
I mean, the dragon scale, that was kind of in the goop vein, and that is loot from a monster, and that's now made the Spitfire stronger. I'm sure there's other examples.
Yeah, but that stuff actually costs stuff.
Yeah.
It'll pay off. Don't worry about it. As for the rest of the cast in terms of backup characters, when we first started like 3 seasons ago, I think I've always had Mandy, who we've now met as my backup character if anything happened to Dani. You know who knows what that's gonna be like going forward. I haven't really thought about what would happen if Dani had to happen to, I don't know, go down and come back again.
Yeah. This was glossed over, but Virla noticed that, and yeah.
Well, I'm sure it won't come up at all next season 4.
I've had an idea for a backup character, but I'll save that in case I gotta pull them out.
I have actually also had an idea for backup character because I played him in a one-shot that Austin ran recently, and I had such a good time with this dumbass himbo.
Oh, you know what?
I think there's potential there.
That guy's also my character because I was in that same one shot.
Yeah.
My character is also in the pocket for him.
Hey-oh.
He's not...
Your character who got smote.
Yeah.
So the character who self-destructed on purpose.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah.
Twice.
We'll fill you in later.
Yeah.
Yes, chat. Mandy, your beloved, is indeed the backup. But we'll get through some more questions here. This one comes from the email from Stupogo to Sophia and possibly Austin, as Dani is now the only member of the current crew to not multiclass, what possible other classes that Dani could multiclass into do you think she could be fun? Do you think could be fun / work for her character? Hope she enjoys being tall. I don't really think I ever thought of Dani as a character that would multiclass, unless there was like a very compelling narrative reason for her to do so, which is usually how I kind of lean to when I'm playing characters. I tend not to multiclass unless the story demands it, but I do think, like, given the street urchin background and general vibe that Dani has of kind of being the sus one at times, that like the class that makes sense to multiclass into would be rogue if it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Rogue would be awesome because the Spitfire counts for sneak attack. And
Yes.
thus
No fucking way.
Yeah.
If I was
that would be
more of a power
terrifying.
gamer, rogue as a multiclass would actually be a very smart move, but I am not. I'm very committed to being extremely good at one thing and going down in a single round.
But that
If
would
you-
also make the only other sneaky character in the party the only other one who passively glows in the dark.
Yeah. Viral is less. Viral already wasn't very good. He had low dex, so he wasn't already good at stealth. It's not like his body inherently made him bad at stealth. But now that the option for like plate armor is on the table for Viral, he's really not going to be stealthy at all.
That's funny, especially after you did a whole quest to get better armor that you could actually wear.
Gotta always be improving. ABI. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I think Rogue probably makes the most
Yeah.
sense.
You know, like if I've talked about this before, but originally when I rolled the character, I gave her the street urchin background, and then like a day later changed it to guild merchant, because I was like, oh well, she's gonna be a heap worker, it makes more sense. But honestly, I've leaned more into the whole street urchin vibe so much more than I necessarily thought I was going to. Like, it's kind of just a natural extension of that. Dani season 4 is sus. Yes. So. No?
Hello, I'm sorry, my wife died.
Oh no. Well, Red's back. All's well.
Everyone goes silent and left, and I was like, this is a weirdly awkward pause. And I sorry about that.
I realized.
Yeah.
More questions.
More questions. Yes. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
more
scrolling
questions.
back. I'm scrolling throughout the chat.
More questions, more questions.
Did I see a question in chat? Just kind of clarifying the Revivify rules for our world, because we do use homebrew.
Yeah.
They-
So I did see
yeah.
that as well. It's that each character can resurrect one other character once. So Finbar has resurrected Enoch. He can never resurrect Enoch again. He's now resurrected Dani. He can never resurrect Dani again. Each time your soul goes in, a piece of your soul, tiny piece, tiny, goes into that person, and thus it never works a second time, but there's no danger of running out of souls. That would be a cool NPC, maybe. Someone who was like, oh yeah, I've done this a couple 100 times, starting to get pretty thin on the soul here. But,
Some sort of like weird fallen cleric or paladin or something.
It's Voldemort,
Yeah.
basically.
Like butter scraped over too much bread.
yes, indeed. But, yeah, so that's why Finbar was able to also resurrect Dani.
Hold on. Sorry, chat's saying my audio's bad now.
You sound fine
sound
to
fine.
me.
Well, the audio's routing through your computer, right?
Yes.
So if I sound fine to you, I should sound fine on the stream.
I think what they're talking about is when you first log back on, you were a little bit robotic, but
Yeah.
you're sounding fine now.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
you should-
Never mind. Sorry about that. I came back wrong. We're good.
Hot.
Pet Cemetery vibes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, Austin, what
Yeah.
the fuck, man? What's Dexter's deal?
Deal?
Why? Hey, this
You'll
guy
have
was
to be more specific.
this guy was a scrub in a prison for 3 years. How is he at the point where he can like one shot stab Finbar with like, an edgy dagger that he definitely named himself?
I suppose
up with
being
that?
able to sneak attack a bunch of adventurers is not the same thing as being able to break out of a Gith prison.
I suppose. Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
multiple parts to that. First off, no, he did not name the dagger. The dagger was named when he took it off the person he
A
killed.
likely story.
The
Uh-huh.
the
of his dagger.
That's what he would
Definitely
say.
kills someone for it.
Y'all joke about him being edgy. Joke all you want while he's slitting each one of your throats. Anyway,
It's our only.
Oh, please bring him
comeback.
back.
Humor
I would
as
love
a
to kill him
defense
more.
mechanism. Awesome.
Yeah.
laugh it up. Why is he still at that level? That's a good question. Who knows what he was doing? Quotes down there the entire time. Why maybe he was able to escape, maybe he wasn't able to. How is he keeping his skills sharp? Is the difference between stabbing someone and escaping from a Gith prison? Did he have reasons for being there? I guess. Well, we'll find out if you guys go after him, I guess.
Yeah.
This man had a 30+ stealth. And
I rolled. Oh my god! I can't believe you said 32, and I double checked my math because I think I'd rolled a 17, and I redid the calculation, and I was like, "Yep, that's 33 does not beat it."
So he has a
Holy-
plus
You were
15, 16 to
so
stealth?
close.
Yeah.
I
We're so close.
I literally could not roll higher. I could not roll higher.
One,
my
yeah.
God.
If it had been one higher, then you would have
You
would
had a
have
bless
seen
or
him.
something?
Yeah.
If, yeah,
Um,
like guidance or something like that. But
yeah.
pretty awesome introduction to be like Finbar can't see him, and then he stabs the shit out of Finbar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do these people have against Finbar?
Yeah, he was standing there. He was in the way.
We
He's
were all
the tank.
standing there.
He's the
No,
tankiest.
you guys were all
and
down on the bottom. He had to
Yeah.
get through Finbar first to get down
Yeah.
there.
He's also the tankiest, and once people see him healing, they're like, gotta take out the medic first. Like it's reasonable,
Stressful.
but also it's stressful.
I do really like. There's a great,
Critting on me? You like critting on me?
I felt so bad when I rolled it. I was like, I can't lie though. It's the 20s right there. It happens. I'm just here to. All I can do is tell the truth. That's all I can do.
Well, speaking of telling the truth, we've got more questions to get through, so let's
Yes,
take
please.
another one from chat. This one comes from Broccoli Bro. Question: if the crew were in a band, what roles would they be? I think Kyana should play the keyboard because she has 4 hands, and that's so many fingers to play.
I was gonna say
keyboard with.
drums because
Yeah, I was gonna say drums.
Yeah.
But like the multi-tiered
With like
keyboards
the
were
multi-tiered
like
keyboard where one's like
the
a synthesizer,
theatricality of it.
Necks, that could go. Yeah.
one's a guitar, and the other is a full keyboard.
I don't think they make those kinds of hybrid guitars.
Kiana's just a one-man band.
I think Danny's
Kiana's the
the
entire
is a
band,
synth.
actually.
I think Danny's the road
Yeah,
crew for the.
I was thinking that Danny's the roadie.
Danny's the one picking up
I
all the
rig
You
our
had
gigs.
pyrotechnics
carte blanche
for
to be
the
as
show.
cool as you wanted.
It's in a
And
very
you were
important
like,
job, so you don't
what
set
if I was
band on
off
fire.
stage?
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with
Virla
you.
would probably be.
Come on, Danny lead vocals. Own it, girl.
Oh yeah.
If
This is the voice
AC/DC
for
can have a
singing.
decades-long career sounding like that, Danny
Yeah.
can make it work.
Danny would
Yeah.
kill back in blank.
Distract!
Virla would probably be keys or bass, probably because those are the instruments that I can play best.
Nice. You're not gonna give Virla like because Noir, I've known you for a minute, and every time we go to the Renaissance Fair, you pick up a new
Okay.
interesting instrument.
Oh,
I feel
It's,
like
it's a
Virla
bad
could go
it's a
for,
bad
like,
habit.
What if you were like a one-man band? You know the ones that have like the drum on the back and then the cymbals and like the harmonica.
Yeah.
The least cool-looking way to be a bard.
But
It's
like
a
you
bad
know,
habit. Yeah. The last time we were at the Ren Fair, I bought a concertina, and then when we were at Iceland, I bought a mandolin.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot you bought a mandolin. It had.
I
it
couldn't
had to be
remember
your
what you bought in
carry-on.
Iceland, but I knew it was something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bad habit. So yeah, it's either the standard like boring answers that I can actually play, or like the really buck wild weird ones that I'm just like picking up and learning how to play for no reason. Yeah.
What's Wally playing? Or what's Finbar playing?
Finbar's probably like backup vocals. Finbar and the Pixies.
I do
that
love the
smooth
idea of
voice.
the Pixies also being a component of this band.
Yep.
The Spice Girls are already there.
That's
Yeah.
true. We're all their backup players, really.
Yeah.
realistically.
That makes sense. So
Um,
no drums is what I'm hearing.
No, I
No.
gotta be drums.
Oh right, yes.
Yeah.
excellent. All right. Well, this
I
next...
also did buy an ocarina. Thank you for reminding me.
Of course.
Oh boy. We'll take another question from the email real quick. This one comes from Sophia. Hello, all. My question to you is, what kind of characters would the crew of the Paraspora and possibly some of the NPCs play in an in-universe D&D campaign, and who would DM?
Oh, God.
Looking forward to season 4. Thank you all for the time and effort you put into creating this amazing show for us. Thank you. So what? If our characters are playing D&D, who is DMing, and also what kind of characters is everyone else playing?
I feel like for Mac, because like I'm thinking of like the one shot that Travis Willingham played, like back during the early days of Critical Role, where he was playing as Grog Strongjaw, and in the world of Exandria, the Vox Machina were playing D&D.
Yeah.
So if we were to try and emulate that kind of energy, it would have to be Dani. I feel would be DMing.
DMing?
Yeah.
Yes. The D in DM stands for Dani.
Yeah.
The Dani Master.
Yes.
I was gonna say Dani Maniac.
It's time for Danimaniacs.
Yeah.
I would like
There's
a
baloney in
theme
their
song.
slacks.
Thank you very much if we're gonna be making this particular bit happen.
I honestly would really love to see the Heap as the Warner lot.
Okay, we got
Our-
it. All right.
I've said I want that fan art on my desk by Monday. I know this is a tall ask to reanimate the entire Animaniacs intro with the full cartoon squash and stretch with the people of the Heap, but I trust you guys. I believe in you.
It's time for Danimaniacs, and we're
Yeah,
sending
exactly.
to the max.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the characters. If Dani's been
who are-
assigned DM.
Assigned
Yeah.
DM at birth.
Chad is pointing out that Mistra could also DM.
Mr. Also
Mr.
DMing, very funny.
That's getting worryingly close to an actual episode premise.
That's like if Virla had 2 wishes on that, it would be like, first wish, find my friends. Second wish, Mister, can you DM a game for us? Like you run Magic. I see no better DM.
Or consider like
games
Virla
before,
casts some
it's
high level
possible.
spell and it,
Divine intervention. Hey, can you like we don't have a DM.
No,
one wants to step up.
you could contrive a legitimate reason for this to happen. If
Call
Virla
upon
like
the goddess
experimentally
of-
casts a high level spell he got through Emmy that he doesn't really know what it does, and Mistra manifests, and we're all stuck in a game for an episode.
Oh
like,
my god.
It's very Capsule Monsters of us, but I think we can make it work.
There is something deeply seated in all of us as TTRPG players to call upon the goddess of magic to actually get everyone together, scheduling lining up for one game or one session.
It can only take her.
Create an entire demi-plane for us to play Dungeons and Dragons, please.
Oh boy.
That's just called the Danger Room.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, isn't there like some demi-plane that's like hyper reality or something like that?
Most likely.
It,
I mean,
the
there's
only
many.
thing-
There's presumably infinite demiplanes.
Yeah.
We very much got away from the question.
Yeah,
I feel
I'm trying to
the
think of
answer
a-
is
like-
Elise would not play.
Yeah.
That's the first one. Elise would be like, okay, have fun, and give Finbar a little kiss, and then go do something else.
Aw.
Yeah.
She says that at first, but we managed to drag her in, and then she gets up.
No, she sticks around and like hands out snacks. Finbar will occasionally get up to help, but he'd play the simplest and easiest class, which would be fighter, because he's not really good with the dice rolls and the big math. So he just picks or barbarian, something easy. So he just goes in and hits. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what? The reason why I chose Virla was because his personality and mindset was very already similar to kind of how I thought. Because I'm in grad school, I can't afford to like think of a whole other backstory or what personality. So I feel like in keeping, Virla would choose an order of scribes, wizard.
He just plays himself. Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
That's very funny because I was like, I think Cressida would just play a version of herself. Because I've known people who just play the same character. It's a different character, but it's the same character every time.
Yeah.
And I think she would be like, yeah, I'm a rogue and I'm like this and this and that. And everyone would be like, okay, we all see.
It's like
what's there.
It's like an engineer playing an artificer being like, no, I can make this thing because if you actually look at the mechanics of it, it works.
I've drawn up the blueprints and
Yeah.
Except if Dani is
Has it
DMing and you're
railgun?
trying to pass off an artificer's blueprint.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh man.
This turns
I
into a
think
review.
Kyana would do that thing. So like in the Ember Island Players episode where the person playing Toph is a giant buff guy.
Yes.
I feel like Kyana would play like a giant, like armored fighter type, just to see what it was like, just for funsies.
That's sick.
Good.
New question.
New question.
Pipe down. I will turn this stream around. This question comes from the chat from Wolfification. To all, what is your favorite race to play? So of the D&D character.
Dwarves.
Dwarves is Austin's answer.
Austin does
Dwarves.
love a dwarf.
Yeah.
That's one of the earliest TTRPG facts I knew about Austin is that he really likes playing dwarves in D&D.
It's one of those Tumblr recontextualization quotes, but it's the line from Into the Woods where it's like, dwarves? But then the quote is, Austin choosing a race to play in a D&D game.
Bit of a circuitous way to get to the punchline there.
I like a long walk.
I like all the character races that are half something, so half elves, half orcs, halflings, etc.
Nice.
Those are my go-tos.
So what's the other half of a halfling?
Sophia, what's a halfling?
I don't know, but it's got half in the name, so it's in the category.
What's the other half?
I mentioned my uncle's crack theory that the hobbits are the Entwives because nobody knows where the Entwives went and nobody knows where the hobbits came from.
Nice. Half cool is what it is, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Also,
that makes
don't look too
/
closely at the fact that
Pippin
those
one.
classes those races often synergize well with bards and rogues. We don't need to dig too deep into that.
Yeah.
This is a scrub answer, but I do like playing humans. First
It's a
of
good
all,
answer.
Humans are
valid.
solid. Yeah.
First of all, point stat up for every ability. Yeah, I'll take it. I don't really roll that well when rolling stats, so I'll take it. But yeah, I think I really sort of embrace the idea that I think was said in the player's handbook, where like humans are maybe not the most long-lived or whatever, but they sort of embody the concept of like maximum potential or something like that, and creativity or something.
I was gonna say I didn't have a preference because I really don't. I've kind of bounced between races just because I think they're a lot of fun. But I realized I actually do have a preference, which is I like playing pretty characters. I was like, when I play like a Dragonborn, probably not. You know,
You can make the Dragonborn pretty.
I mean, you know,
Make
you
them, like,
kind
purple
of,
color.
but one of them like Dragon Blood sorcerers, which is a little sparkly around the eyes. Anyway, so I can't help it. I have an aesthetic sense. I'm an artist.
I will say I did like playing the one shot that Red and Austin were talking about was I played a Plasmoid, and I did like that.
Plasmoids are great. Love that.
Nice.
Yes.
Oob Taglor the Dancer.
Yeah. I'd
Hell
say
yeah.
like generally I've been trying to play different character races more often than not.
Yeah.
Like as I've been playing, if not D&D, TTRPGs for a very long time, and particularly Pathfinder, which has similar character like construction in ways. You know, the elves and all that are always around. So I've been trying to, in more recent years, branch out. Thus, you know, Genasi and whatever else is coming up. You know, I really want to play a Triton again. I played one a while back, and I have not
Tritons are cool.
Triton's cool.
looped back around since. So.
Yeah. I like playing like the tall or like lanky races. So
Nice.
Yeah, that tracks.
I wonder why.
I like the bugbears. I like
Nice.
hobgoblins. What else? Gith. I love playing a good Gith. Gith. Is that right? I love wood elves.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Elves in general are fun, but I feel like it's a little cliche. But I will always pick a wood elf. Not a huge fan of the dark elf aesthetic. It's too edgy for me.
I love drow.
But
I love the drow color palette.
My first ever D&D
it is
character was a drow.
fantastic.
Of course it was.
Oh yeah, of course it
It was
was.
a drow ranger, and instead of using a bow, I used a sword because I was different.
Oh, wow. Hello,
it was an
Drizzt
incredibly
Doran.
ineffective character.
Hey, to be clear, Drizzt, to my knowledge, has not demonstrated any strict ranger abilities. He seems to
He has an
mostly be
animal companion.
He does not. Guinevere is a magic item that he uses to summon a panther.
Didn't
It's
he make
not-
friends with the panther in the first book?
I don't think. You know what? I might be wrong. I haven't read them. I've just talked to my friend who's read all
He's
of them.
got
And he
two
explained it to
swords
me.
and a panther Ranger. He's
don't
the
know what
reason
we're
Rangers
talking
can do
about.
2-weapon fighting.
We're talking about your character, Sophia. We're talking about your first.
Yeah, did you know they
your
wrote a
first
whole
Pathfinder.
series of fantasy
Yeah,
novels
you know,
about it?
yeah.
Well,
Oh,
I
yeah.
wish I had.
You know your friend R.A. Salvatore? He actually wrote a couple books.
Yeah.
You played with him in high school.
The bit with your zombie dad was crazy. Anyway.
There's a question in chat that I feel like we owe it to the Aussie listeners to answer. To all, are you scared of ever visiting Australia after this season? I just want to give a shout out to all of the Aussies who listen to this podcast and have always been nothing but kind about
Oh, I
our
have to work on my accent.
mispronunciations
Oh
and
my god.
Wally, the one thing that disappointed me this
I have-
season is you introduced a good
really
character
bad.
and did not do
I'm
the
really
accent.
bad at accents. I have to work on it. I promise you guys. I will get my Australian accent up.
Yeah, Sophia, fuck you for making me do an Australian accent for Julius Caesar.
You are welcome. Aha.
Tim was right there too.
I know, but he's from New Zealand, so
Yeah,
it's
he's from New
different.
Zealand.
Pretty-
I know, but
It was more like you had to like balance on the tightrope over a New Zealand accent.
I
Or
fell
worse, a bad New
immediately.
Zealand accent.
I fell off the tightrope immediately.
Of course.
But the Australian listeners have been nothing but kind. We've gotten some cool emails in the past with Aussie slang, or I'm sorry, Gith slang, and some snacks and whatnot. So thank you guys for being cool. I think we would probably be okay if we ever visited Australia.
Well, we are half a hemisphere away. It's easy to be polite when you're far.
Yeah.
Also, like, I don't know, 30 people know who we are, so.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, not Red, but pretty sure the rest of us are fine.
You say
Like, hey,
that.
I
and
haven't
then
done an Aussie accent. I'm safe.
We land in Perth and like all 30 of
Yeah.
just like waiting,
Oh,
Waiting
clenched
there.
fists.
oh,
Yeah.
great. Welcome to Australia.
We'll take a
yeah.
question
Good work,
from
team.
the email this time. How would each of you say your styles of playing/DMing changed over the course of the campaign as a whole?
Oh, interesting.
Over the course of the campaign. Ugh.
So seasons
Like
1 through
overall, our
3,
like our philosophical approach to playing D&D.
I guess, or like
I think-
any changes
so,
you've
yeah.
noticed in your play style since we've started doing rolling with difficulty.
Not
I mean,
really.
Not really. Sorry,
I-
I've
you
been
know
playing
what,
D&D for a very long time.
I will have to say though, playing Finbar is not a playstyle I typically do. Playing a more like backline support kind of character. I usually like doing the Dani route, running around the battlefield, causing mayhem,
Going down
touching
around.
and pushing. Yeah, pushing all the buttons.
yeah.
You say that.
He's playing the sorcerer right now in our campaign.
Yeah, and I go down. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's allowed me to play a different kind of character, at least for this campaign, and I it's just adding to my grab bag of weird experiences that I've had with D&D, and I love playing Finbar. So
That's the delight of D&D. You can, do something new without it really rewiring your brain exactly. It's just like, that's a new fun thing I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if my DM. What's interesting is I kind of already prepped the way I did. The prep is much different. I feel like maybe my DM style isn't different, but prep is much different because I need to have a ton of possible things that could happen. Because it's the way that it's episodic, I have to have a ton of possible things that could happen, and I have to basically know where it's going to end. There's a lot of room for them to surprise me, especially the way they get there, but I need to have a lot of stuff and then throw things out along the way to make the plane lighter so that it lands and hits the mark, because it's much harder to make stuff along the way than it is to throw things out. So that's definitely something that has changed, is the way I have to prepare sessions. But overall, I think a lot of my ethos has stayed the same. That's a much deeper question. I probably have to think pretty hard about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think generally, like, my playstyle hasn't super changed. I think I approach Dani specifically a little bit differently now in season 3 compared to season 1, in that, we've been doing this for more than an episode or two, so I'm thinking of her as a little bit less simple of a character now that events have happened. Because, when we first started the campaign, my conception of Dani is this is a character with a capital C that stuff will happen to, and then development will happen as a result of that, because rather than giving her a set goal, someone needs to be the blank canvas for other things to play off of. And now going into season 4, the quote-unquote Dani season, obviously that approach is not necessarily going to be true anymore. She's a bit more of an active character. So I kind of think about that in the back of my mind, but I don't know how much that necessarily affects my play style. I think if anything, I do play rolling with difficulty a little different than I would a home game, but only because I am aware that we are making a show that other people are going to consume in some form. I'm not going to be quite as zoned out in between combat rounds as I might be in a home game, but I don't know if I would say my playstyle has super changed over the course of the seasons, or my ethos, as Austin was saying, is really not altered too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's your answer. We were perfect to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not to say we haven't learned some different things. I've seen some comments in the chat about the Lucky Bolts table that users are coming up with. Extremely funny and cool. I doubt it will be implemented in the campaign proper, but it is super fun to read through. So if you're not on the Discord already, I recommend going and giving that a little look-see.
Yeah, that is true. I have read it. It is very funny. I appreciate all the effort that went into it. I enjoyed reading it. And I think I procrastinated a lot of prep by reading that. But
Yeah.
I think if you hit a 100, you become a dragon. So I don't know if it's super balanced. So I think
what are the
I think we'll
odds,
probably
Austin?
stick with.
Isn't there one
Become a dragon that's capable of transforming into a humanoid again, because then we can just solve the problem.
Oh, there you go. If
She very briefly breaks the hull of the ship and then goes back to normal.
Isn't there one where like if you roll, you get leukemia? Like that's it? You just
Oh no!
There's
you just
what?
get leukemia?
yeah, so I don't know if we're gonna use that one. We'll probably if Dani was a wild magic sorcerer, I'd probably be like way more motivated to try and find a better chart. But because she only occasionally does this, I'm confident.
I only do it for comedic effect, so it's all good.
Yeah, I'm comfortable using the DM's Guide one, even though it's I don't think particularly robust.
Yeah, doing bits has never affected the plot before.
Only my character design. Another question from the chat from Music Enthusiast 135. You guys answered your character's favorite NPC a while back, but who's your character's least favorite NPC?
The person they've met, they all hate.
Huh.
All my boys hating Delian, Dexter, and Otto.
I was like, there aren't that many. Like, we're gonna come in with some real shitheads.
Well, now I feel bad because they're Dani's backup character, but
you don't like Mandy?
You don't like
Kyana
Mandy?
does not like Mandy. Kyana doesn't get Mandy, and she doesn't understand why they're so mean. Yeah, so it's like everyone else Kyana kind of gets. It's like, oh yeah, Cressida tried to kidnap me. Oh yeah, and Delian's a dickhead, but he's a warrior. I understand. And Mandy, it's just like, why are they so mean? I don't get it.
A lot of auto hate in the chat.
A lot of auto hate in the chat.
But everyone's spelling it right, so you know what? Inspiration everyone.
Well,
we got to them. We got to them.
Why is there a second T in auto? I've always...
It's more fantasy if you spell it right.
Yeah.
The thing you have to understand is that a lot of the decisions I make are little funny things I do to entertain myself, or specific things I do to bother other people. So for this case, this is specifically to get back at Noir for the way that he makes fantasy names in his game.
That's not even. But it's not even my character. It's not even my NPC. What are you talking about?
But I just make up all
Also,
the funny
I
names.
will half of the names that I came up with are like from random fantasy generators. So if anything, you gotta blame them. I think the thing that Austin is honing in on, they went into the sewers of like the capital one time, and they found that there was like this underground kobold civilization, and the first guy that they came up with was a guy named Crank. It's spelled Qurenk. Crank.
Okay. That's pretty fucking stupid.
That came from a fantasy name generator.
Yeah.
That came from a fantasy name generator. I don't know, man.
Honestly, I feel like there was a reason I chose 1T for Otto. I'm gonna have to go back and see if I can. Karunda Trossi, yeah, that one's a very.
Okay, I'm curious to know how people think that one should be spelled.
They think it's two words.
Corbigay almost got it correct.
Yeah.
Huh?
They're missing.
I think
they're
there's an
missing an
N.
R and an N, but yeah.
Too many R's and N's in that name.
Yeah. Well, there's reasons that his name is spelled like that.
But what about the rest of the cast? Your character's least favorite NPCs. Kiana's is Mandy. Virla, I have to assume, is one of the many antagonists that have appeared in this season.
Well, see, those are the easy answers. Like, obviously, Virla has a reason to not
Andelian,
like,
Dexter,
yeah, to not
yeah.
like Andelian
wait.
and Dexter and
I
Otto.
think I know the answer.
But
Go
I feel
on, go
like,
on.
yeah, I feel like just setting all of those aside, one of the more like insidious like people that Virla does not like is Casimir.
Oh, yeah.
Casimir, Virla sees Casimir as the guy who's like, if he was in your group team, he's like low trust but high performance. So like, if you manage to count on him, if he manages to pull through, he does like really, really good work. But he's also like the asshole of the group that everyone keeps on just because he does good work.
That is also Dani's answer to this question, in that she...
Yeah!
But it's because she just thinks he's silly. She's like, this guy doesn't know how to do things practically, and that's irresponsible as an artificer. You gotta have some ownership over your shit.
Says the inventor of Lucky Bolt.
Hey, that only affects me. It's fine.
See, I feel like the real least favorite character for Virla is Bryn Hightower, who's the dwarf captain that you met when you went to Arcadia.
Yeah, I want to know who in Arcadia gave us that parking
See,
ticket.
Yeah, it was Bryn.
But Virla understands that it's not Bryn's fault, it's the system. So Virla's trying to attack the system.
I don't know how and I don't know why, but we gotta give Virla an excuse to do Arcadia.
Yeah.
What about Finbar?
God.
Finbar tries not to hold malice in his heart.
It's okay, you can say it.
But
This is an open place.
It is Otto, but
Yeah.
only for the reason that he cannot get his name right. That is the only reason
That
why
is
Finbar
the
does not
The
like
single
Otto.
That
most
is
valid
Finbar.
reason
Yeah.
that anyone has given. Like,
I love
Finbar
thinking about
has
things
such
that Otto will say.
like
him being like, "You're not dead." Oh, well, good for you, I guess.
I'm sure we'll see more of Otto next season because it is, there's some Dani stuff going on, but like, I kind of love interacting with Otto. I know that he is unpopular, but man, those conversations are usually so funny.
look, you can like a character for being interesting without liking them as a person.
Yeah.
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 Oh boy.
Oh,
Austin,
man.
if you start off season 4 with us returning to the heap and Otto says, "Oh, you're not dead? Good." That's a particular fuck you to like you personally, Austin, because that yeah, anyway.
Austin making notes right now.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
You gotta be less easy to antagonize. You need to make a game of it.
Oh man. Well, let's scroll through the chat for more questions. I am very on top of things today. This is definitely the only podcast related stuff I've been working on.
I know. Someone had asked multiple people in the Discord, and someone in the chat had also asked about the subclasses for the Mechanites for the previous crew, and I don't really make big NPCs in that way because that would be a pain to run. But I was forced to think about it because Noir asked me. So
for reasons.
Unless I was playing one as a PC or someone else was playing one as a PC, I doubt I would actually roll up their character sheets. But thinking about it, I imagine that Sierra is either a champion or, well, Purple Dragon Knight is the way it's usually called, but I think it's a banneret.
Yeah.
Is the other name for that subclass. Caleb. This one was tough because most of the artificers get a little friend, and I don't really even think of him as that much of a spellcaster. He's much more like on the artifice side of like creating things, but perhaps the armorer would make sense since he is a Mechanite. Maybe the stealth kind. Obviously, he's not the big beefy tank. Eden is Horizon Walker. I thought that was actually pretty easy because that kind of sums up her role. And then Aster's, I had originally assumed Delight because that is obviously the domain of Saloon, but Twilight was pointed out to me, and I think that actually fits her vibe a lot better. So very cool. And as for Dexter, is whatever he needs to be to absolutely terrorize them.
Oh, okay.
So,
Kind of a related
Dexter's class
question.
is scrub.
Kind of a related question that I see in chat. What characters from the old crew would your characters vibe with the most? So, of the
I guess we'll find out next
the
season.
Mechanites. who do we predict each of us are gonna. I mean, Dani and Caleb, I imagine, are a pretty easy artificer to
It's
artificer.
either they'll get along really well, or Caleb is gonna like freak out at all of the hack job changes that Dani has made, and just be like, "What have you done to my ship?"
I think you guys need an antagonistic friendship where you guys are constantly trying to undo each other's fixes.
Yeah.
Spy versus spy.
Yeah, exactly.
I liked this was sort of like peppered in throughout the finale, but there was like kind of this heavy implication that Caleb and Virla had like a pretty close relationship before, like on like in Virla's prior life or whatever.
Yeah.
All my homies love Caleb.
Yeah, which is particularly heartbreaking when you realize that like when Virla woke up, he immediately gravitated to the next artificer he saw.
Oh god.
To be fair, the next artificer you saw was
sort of a
in your
replacement
face
friend.
in the moment.
Yeah, it's like a baby bird thing.
Yeah, but like
Put
you
it
could,
up and it's like friend acquired.
yeah. But Virla's looking forward to kind of attempt to reconnect with all of them. He knows that some are more uphill battles than others, and he knows it. He understands it.
I already like Eden. I already like our dynamic.
Yeah.
I hope she sticks around.
Finbar, he hasn't gotten a chance to interact with them just yet, but I have a feeling he'd absolutely connect with Sierra. And with her connection to Saloon and the moon. That's right.
Is that Sierra or
That's
Aster?
Aster. Oh, okay, sorry.
Is Sierra the
Wrong
big one?
Yeah.
Sierra's the big one. Yeah.
Actually, both of them might.
I feel like they're both chill.
Yeah. Sierra's very happy, apparently.
Yeah.
I do also like. There's in the fanfic channel in the Discord, someone was sort of toying with the idea of like Aster and Virla talking and sort of connecting with each other about their respective gods. Sort of Virla coming to Aster with advice, and I do like that idea. So, yeah. Good job. Your name escapes me. I'm so sorry.
Did you guys catch those? The squeaks?
Was that Ziggy?
Was that Ziggs?
Ziggs? Say hi. You're live, Ziggy. Canon actor for plug.
Alright, but if we could get a picture of Ziggy with a newspaper with the current date, just to be sure.
Hold on. I'll hold her up in front of the live stream window and take a picture. Stay still, cat.
Etta, yes. Thank you, Space Panini.
This is truly difficult. She got wiggly, but we got it.
Good.
Did you guys ever do a one-shot with, stop scrolling, the old crew of the Paraspora finding their feet after all the everything? I think that would involve everyone playing a character, which I'm not against.
That would be cool.
But I'd need to be like, so here's their deal.
Yeah.
Let me download this character into your brain so that we're all on the same page. And then I would also have to assume that they're all like sticking together, which is not to say that they won't, but these are things that are as yet undecided.
We have not planned
we could
season
also,
4 at all yet.
There could also be a one shot where it was the crew of the Paraspora before all the stuff, you know?
Ooh,
So,
one of us could play Dexter.
Cool. There's too many of them. It is very funny when
Noir's backdoor way to play Emerson.
Or Noir's backdoor way to play a little baby Wesley Crusher. Virla.
It's either that or it would be like this would be like the point, because I assume that they were sort of traveling together. I think I forget, was Virla the last person that they had picked up to join the crew, or
I believe Emerson said that.
Yeah, so it could also be everyone except Virla, basically. Yeah.
Be pre-Virla. There are a lot of them. I did when I was doing before we recorded episode 1. I had this DM advice: don't solve all your questions before you start, because some questions do not need answers yet, and you'll come up with something better along the way. But there are a lot of things that I wanted to have to start, and Virla's crew was one of them. So I had the list of all of them, and then you learned their names when you met Maxim. And then I was we were coming to this year, like, let me find them. And I was like, oh my god, There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. And I was like, but I started piecing it out. I was like, okay, well, the good thing is that one of them's dead. And one of them's bad.
Thank goodness.
So we actually only need 4 NPCs that you'll need to interact with simultaneously.
Right.
So it ended up working out okay, because you look at the crew, it's like 7 people. But that's Virla and Emerson and Dexter, and then the other 4. And so then I only had to break down how the other 4 were going to interact with each other once you rescued them. Mm-hmm. And that ended up working out pretty well. I think 4 was actually a good number to have a range of personalities and a range of like how they feel about the situation and how they're going to interact with you. So I thought that ended up working pretty well.
Yeah.
Huh.
I think interacting with all 7, like if you were an NPC, I think would be a little bit overwhelming, especially for you, Austin. Jeez. But I agree. I think 4 was sort of a good number to. There's one for each of us. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're sort of getting towards the end of this Q&A. So anyone who did not get to get their question answered, do feel free to email rollwithdifficulty@gmail.com, and over the next 2 weeks or so, we will get around to answering those emails. I know we are a little bit slow. I promise we see them, we'll get to them. But to just kind of like wrap it up, because I've seen a few questions in chat and we got a few emails about just like asking about one-shots and whatnot. Some people talk, the Curse of the Amulet one-shot has sort of come back around to being in people's minds. I know we've teased that we're doing more one-shots in the break between seasons. I think we could probably get away with giving just the simplest tease of a premise for what the first one we plan on doing is. Yeah. What do you guys think?
I don't see why not. Yeah, I don't see why not.
Sure.
That's really up to the GM on it.
Weird little dudes.
Weird little dudes. We're doing the weird little dudes one shot. Assuming all goes well, it'll be recorded in the next month or so. But yes, all of us will be playing weird little dudes. Noir will be DMing, GMing, what have you. So keep an eye out for that in the break. Who knows if we'll do anything else? So many fun things to keep hanging around. You're always welcome to go back and listen to Curse of the Amulet. It's super fun with Philadelphia lore.
Yeah. So I finally figured out what somebody in chat was talking about. It was like, oh, there's some nightmare going on in the art channel. I couldn't figure out what they were talking about. Someone's drawing fan art of the one-shot characters as cats.
As cats. Yeah.
It looks very cute.
Yeah, that's not nightmare material. That's really cute.
Adorable.
Yeah, Space Panini.
Nothing has gone wrong in that one shot for you to end up in that state. Everything is fine.
Man.
I also found out hilariously that my boyfriend's brother's weed dispensary is right at the location that you guys started that one shot.
Oh, what a
What a
coincidence!
small world.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
He was listening to the episode. He's like, "Oh, that's where my dispensary." It's like, great.
What a tangled web we weave.
Yeah, but
Oh
no,
my God.
we'll be bridging the gap between seasons with a little bit of extra content. So keep an eye on the socials and the YouTube channel and whatnot for all of that, for updates. If you're not already, definitely go join the Discord server. There's a really cool community on there of artists and fan artists and fanfic writers and just people who like to talk about this podcast as much as we do, which is crazy, but it's so fun. And in addition to Discord, we also have a Patreon if you'd like to support the podcast directly. And every month on there, we host Discord special channel for patrons only, hangouts with the cast. We do all sorts of bonus articles and whatnot. Austin might be a better person to talk about the kind of extra content we do on there. But
Yeah. So there's obviously various levels like a Patreon, but signing up at various levels, you can get bonus articles, which includes art, includes fiction, canon fiction, includes we have our subclass, the College of Feast Bard, which you can still get. It's a previous article that you can still have access to if you sign up. And if you enjoyed hanging out with us here, then there's a smaller monthly hangout that happens if you are at our $10 tier on Patreon. So that was what Sophia was describing on the Discord.
yes.
We do that once a month. It's happening tomorrow. So if you want more questions, if you want to hang out more like this,
Now's
go
the
ahead
time.
and join us there.
Yeah, but thank you to everyone who's already a patron and who's been supporting the podcast, and thank you to everyone who's been listening this season. I am so excited for the next one, but also very excited to have a few months off from editing these. So keep an eye out this summer for season 4 as the continued adventures of the Paraspora take place. In the meantime, thank you guys so much for listening. Feel free to email us those extra questions, and have a nice rest of your day.
Yeah.